What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Stereo Rifles tuning in on the microphone as usual. As we get into the video, I just want to have a quick request. If we can shoot for 10 likes on the video, it'd be much appreciated and good karma will come of it. Also, if you're new to the channel, if you subscribe for Thunderstruck Gaming, you saw my newest video on his channel, I just want to give you, from my heart, a big thank you. It's really tough to grow out here on YouTube. I would say Call of Duty commentating is probably one of the most saturated categories, period, or at least one of the top ones. So again, for you guys to actually subscribe to my channel, man, I mean, much love to you, much love. And now let's get on to the main subject of my commentary today. So we're basically going to be talking about, got this new patch coming up. I believe it's this Tuesday. Tony Flame was on the Twitters talking about a big gun balancing patch update, all that good stuff. And you know, you're hearing everybody talk about nerfing the Titan, nerfing the Spitfire, they're too overpowered, etc., etc. And honestly, I mean, like me personally, I think just leave well enough alone. If anything, just buff the GKS, give all rifles SMGs FMJ, in my opinion, because the reason being is that I thought in the beginning I knew body armor was going to be very, you know, significant in the game. There's gonna be a lot of dudes using it, but I figured as the game went on, the season progressed, I thought people would kind of back off of that and use things like more like stim shot and comsec device. Like personally, most of the time I'm using them too, stim shot or comsec device, period. But you know, as people got more comfortable with the game as it went on, they would get away from them, but they really haven't. So FMJ on all guns would be, to me, very helpful. But yeah, like I said, you look back in the day, man, you didn't really have nerfs and patches and buffs like this all the time, man. It seems like it's too much to me. It's like you can't even get a feel for the game because it's constantly changing. You think you got all these guns down, then they do something to them. But I mean, I can understand where some people were coming from, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. And me personally, I mean, that's why I'm using the SOG 9mm in this gameplay. By the way, it's hardcore team deathmatch. I wanted to mix it up a little bit, so, you know, a little hardcore. But yeah, man, I'll just make the adjustment like everybody else, I'm sure will, and it is what it is. Like, if they do nerf the Spitfire, I'm sure I'll still use it. And I'm hoping to make a video to prove a point after they nerf it, if I can still use it in Beast. But we'll just wait and see. Also, the second part of kind of what I wanted to, I said wanted twice. Excuse me. Was just touch on what is overpowered. You know, you hear that term thrown around all the time. And what I'm going to say is what is not overpowered and what, in my opinion, may be kind of overpowered. And the Spitfire, for instance, you know, people say this saying, it's too strong. It's overpowered. But really, the definition of overpowered is when, for example, this is the SMG, you know, it has an advantage over, let's say, an assault rifle or an LMG. And think about it, guys. We're playing, let's say, Icebreaker, big, you know, open, like, you know, line of sight map, or militia maybe. You can't tell me you're gonna outshoot a guy, like, let's say 50 yards with a Spitfire versus an ICR or a Titan or a Rampart. Are you honestly telling me that? I'm not saying I haven't gotten a few long shots with the Spitfire myself, but it's not all the time. Most of the time, like this gameplay, it's close quarters. That's when the game, I mean, you know, the gun really shines like it's supposed to. It's an SMG. You're not, you know, if you're long shotting with this gun, it's probably in hardcore. I'm not saying it can't be done, but to me, if you really think about it, that's what overpowered means, is when it's overly advantageous over, you know, let's say an assault rifle or an LMG, which that's where it's supposed to shine, is, you know, let's say that. You know what I mean? So really, it's not overpowered. It's just, to me, it's where it needs to be, especially with this game's meta and the health and all that good stuff. But, and what else we have? The Titan. I mean, I think the only thing they should do the Titan is a little more recoil, and the sprint out time needs to be nerfed just a tad, and that's about it. But don't run it into the ground, man. You know, that's my 2 cents. It's just my opinion. It's not the gospel. So we talk about what's, you know, what we think is overpowered. Honestly, only things I can come up with in my head as far as what I would think is considered actually overpowered, maybe the Mozu Skull Splitter. That's a good example. of overpowered. You have it's had the operator mod set up. You can one shot headshot in core. Not only that, it's got the scope on it. I mean, if you were playing super passive, I mean, you could nuke out with this thing. One shot headshot in core with 150 health. Now that to me is the definition, the very definition of overpowered. I'm not saying they should nerf it, because honestly, I don't see that many people using it. But if you want to talk actually overpowered, that's a good example. And the other one, which is definitely counterable, is the Akimbo SOG 9mm. Unless you're catching that dude off guard, that combination is, whew, that is strong. That is almost, I want to say, overpowered, because no matter what you put up against that thing, maybe the Spitfire with the operator mod, you'd have a sporting chance, or even a pump action shotgun, like, you know what I mean, and you're really good with it. But there's not much that can compete with it at close range. That, to me, again, defines what's overpowered. But, I don't know. It is what it is, man. We will see what happens on the update. I'm really curious to see what happens. I'm sure a billion other YouTubers will, you know, do the patch notes update. I don't do that, you know what I mean? Because you can go to anybody for that. If you come to my channel, you know, I'm trying to do things a little differently. I try to have commentaries that are about maybe something not everybody's talking about. If you watched my previous videos, you'll see that. And also, I try to get some decent gameplays for you guys. That's about all I have for today, guys. Make sure to smack the like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll just see you on the next one, guys. Take it easy.